Hi, this is Xane Daniel. I wanted to thank you so much for participating in this meditation and activation. This is not just a guided meditation, but it is an activation. I work with an extra-dimensional collective called the Hathors. They're very powerful, and by listening to the sound of my voice, you're being activated by the Hathors, and then peppered throughout this meditation, you'll receive very specific, targeted energy healing through activations. And how these activations work is, I will say, breath in. And when I do, you'll take a nice big deep breath and you'll hold it at the top and you'll wait for me to say the word awaken. And then you can exhale. But it will be loud, so don't be too surprised when it bursts into your ears. This is the signal that will send a high burst of energy to accomplish whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. And as with all high vibrational energy activations or attunements, it's important for you to know that this can result in a little bit of a recovery period. So don't be surprised if you feel extra tired or extra wide awake. Drink plenty of water after you listen to this. And this recovery period could actually take a couple of days for you to get over. But understand that if you do experience a recovery period, you've gone through quite the transformation. To use the Monday meditations as intended, I invite you to listen to each one all week, every day, until the next Monday meditation releases, and then use that one every day for a week. Each time you listen to them, they will become more and more integrated into the amazing being that you already are. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice big deep breath. And relax as you exhale. Feel yourself sinking into the chair that you're sitting in, the bed that you're laying on. Feel the gravity of the earth pulling you and keeping you close to her. This you that she is keeping close to her is generally the third dimensional body. There's an energy field, and yet you are a multi-dimensional being here having a 3D experience. This version of yourself that you feel like you are is the one that's being pulled to the earth. But you are so much more than that. And we often misplace or forget that we are these multidimensional beings. We get wrapped up in the day-to-day tasks, worried about money or security, relationships. And these things are superficial. Who we really are is much, much deeper. We are not our worries. We are not our concerns. We are the wisdom of the universe. We are the universe. We have come here separating ourselves from the universal consciousness into this disguise, forgetting that we are this higher and incredible being, so that we can experience many different things that are not accessible to us when we are our higher selves or when we are our source selves. Because we're so wrapped up in these concerns, in this survival programming, in these meat robots that I like to call them. These are filters, filtering information from this 3D space into our multidimensional being. And when we are so convinced that we are these flesh and blood robots, that our brains are who we are, when we're so convinced of this, then we miss out on something unbelievable. something that is akin to a miracle. But before we get into that, let's think for a minute about how much of a miracle we already are. We are these weird, blobby, flesh and blood robots ambling around this ball of rock. And our systems are so complex that we don't even understand them. We don't truly understand how it all works. Why is it that when we place a spermatozoa into an egg, why that really turns into another being? We say, oh yeah, well, there's the cell division and so on, and scientists can tell you all this stuff. But they still don't know, really truly, how it works. They just know that it does. And they can't create something like it. They can't say, oh, okay, let's create another being that has all the same features and functions. So I want you to right now feel how much of a miracle you are as this incredible 3D being. Notice that when you breathe, how much of your body moves. How breathing is automatic, yet you can also take control of it. You can feel the breath moving in and out of your nostrils, in and out of your lungs, your abdomen. You might even be able to feel it in your throat, inside your nose, or inside your mouth. And if you think about it, this breathing process is bringing in this complex set of gases that also contains oxygen. And then instantaneously, your lungs grab all the oxygen and then convert it into carbon. And then instantly, as you breathe out, that mixture of gases has changed to include carbon dioxide. I mean, just that is an incredible miracle. So keep focusing on your breathing and recognize and realize how amazing these 3D bodies are. How you have to deal with emotions, and usually you don't like them. Usually they're dragging you down. They're causing pain. They're causing suffering. But actually the emotions are incredible. They're why we're here. When you are your higher self, you can't really experience these emotions because you are an infinite being. You know that you cannot die. You also live in the infinite now, meaning there is no linear time for you. And most of the emotions require that you can die, linear time, or other three-dimensional beings that you can interact with. So coming here, even your higher self was excited because you were going to experience things that you as your higher self could not access. So why is it that if you're in a paradise, experiencing emotions that you cannot feel otherwise, would you even want to get into contact and to merge with, or communicate with, or share this experience with your higher self? It would almost seem like that isn't necessary. And in a way, it isn't. You can still have a fully valid human experience without ever even realizing that you are multidimensional or have a higher self. But the benefits of merging with, or communicating with, or channeling your higher self is taking essentially the best of both worlds. You, as a limited 3D human, with all of your emotions, being able to merge with your higher self, which lives in the moment, is surrounded by and can only experience unconditional love, and has access to all universal knowledge. It would be really nice to integrate all of that into your basic 3D experience that is filled with worries, fears, surprises, pain, excitement, suffering, gratitude, optimism, pessimism, on and on and on. So what if this 3D version of yourself knew all that the higher self knew? You'd be able to experience things here in the 3D world from a perspective of universal knowledge, unconditional love, and living in the moment. I can see that as being pretty valuable. So I want you to picture yourself sitting in your chair, laying in that bed, that 3D version of yourself. And I want you to picture yourself looking at yourself as though you're standing in the room. Really look at yourself. From this perspective, you are your higher self. And how would you look at yourself? As this incredible miracle being who's never made a mistake, who's done everything exactly according to plan, someone who has suffered a lot, someone who has thrived often, someone who they believe they've made mistakes even though they really haven't, someone who's tried really hard to be a good person, to be a great person, to be loving and to be loved. But you as your higher self, you already massively love that 3D person unconditionally. There's nothing that 3D person could do that would make you stop loving them. That feels pretty good. So now I want you to go back to being your 3D self. And without opening your eyes, I want you to look over at where you were just standing a second ago. And standing in your spot is a being whose shape is similar to yours, but is not 3D at all. It is truly just light. It might blind you because it's so bright. It's pure light. That is your higher self. That is the being of light that you truly are. That is your multi-dimensional self. And in a similar way that you were just looking at your 3D self, you might look at your multi-dimensional self and a tear might come to your eye because they're so beautiful. Talk about miracles. This thing is not physical at all. It's so much more than that. And amazingly, that thing is you. So now what I want you to do is stand off again and look at both your 3D self sitting in the chair or lying in the bed and your higher self, this incredible being of light that's standing there, and they're both looking at each other. And from this third person perspective, I want you to watch as the two merge. I'm going to count backwards from 5, and when I reach 1, the merge will be complete. 5. The being of light is floating toward you, your 3D self, sitting in that chair. 4. They've begun to touch, and the skin on the 3D self begins to light up. 3. Watch as that being of light begins to pass into your 3D self. 2. They get almost completely merged. And 1. The merge is complete. You are the same being. The awareness of your higher self, the awareness of your 3D self are merged as one being. From this position now, you can see the world in a completely new way. Breath in. Oh! Good. I pictured you just now as both your higher self and your 3D self, relaxing. I see you leaning back in your chair or on your bed, crossing your knees, and one's kind of kicking. One leg is kind of kicking. And your hands have been brought around the back of your head with your elbows kind of pointing up and out. Just really relaxed in this new pose, this new version of yourself. And why wouldn't you be relaxed? You are now the best of both worlds. Things that used to bother you don't. You know that this is just a temporary experience, that your true self is that multi-dimensional self. So bring in that higher knowledge, that infinite knowledge. Bring in all that unconditional love. You can finally love yourself. Because maybe the reason that you haven't loved yourself is because you saw your own flaws. But now, when you are merged with your higher self, you know that flaws don't actually exist. That perfection doesn't exist. And that your striving for perfection was folly. So now you don't even need to ground with the earth, because you can start to recognize that you are the earth, and you are all the other people, and you are all the other planets, and you are all the other dimensions, and you are all that exists. Take another nice big deep breath and relax. You did it. You made it. You are everything. But you've decided to pretend like you're not. And you're a very good pretender. You've actually completely convinced yourself. And everybody else, too. But if you kind of throw away that make-believe story and realize your power, realize your truth, that you are all, then the things that used to drag you down and weigh you down are nothing. Because when your journey is done here as this 3D meat robot, you will resume being that infinite being of light who knows only unconditional love, who does not know suffering, and who knows that this world, as screwed up as it is exactly as it's supposed to be. And all the stress and the pressure that you've been feeling will evaporate. But here's the kicker. This place is not so bad. It's kind of amazing. And as soon as you leave here, in whatever way you do, you'll be begging to come back. Take one more nice big deep breath for me. And relax into who you truly are. This multidimensional being that you are has no limitations. It believes it has limitations. That's the charm. But it actually doesn't have any. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish, if you know you can, then you will. Whatever you want to see, whatever you want to experience, if you know you will, then you will. That's how powerful you are. And when you are merged, fully merged, with your multidimensional self, then these words that I'm saying are like, yeah, no kidding. Feel the temperature of the room on your skin. Hear the sounds of maybe the birds outside, or a fan, or a heater, or an air conditioner, a refrigerator, whatever it is in your space. Feel where your body is touching itself. Maybe your arm is resting on your leg. And when you're ready to just know that you are that multidimensional being, and you've always have been. And when you're ready to tap in to universal knowledge, living in the moment, and your incredible sovereign right to unconditionally love, then you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for listening to this meditation. I recommend that you keep listening to it every day until next Monday's meditation, where we'll take you on another journey that will help you navigate this 3D world and become one with who you truly are, all of existence itself.